Welcome back, guys. Sushri, how can it violate Article 14? No, that is the point to be understood here. A lot of people allege that this violates Article 14 because it creates discrimination, unequal treatment. The treatment meted out is not equal for everyone. So that is what they are referring to who have petitioned against this law, right? That is why this law is seen by some as violating the right to equality, the equal treatment for all people. They say that the differential treatment based on religion, country, etc., is not a correct differential treatment. So when you treat people differently, there has to be a reason behind it, right? For example, treating people, rich people, by taxing them more, it's an economic decision. There is a genuine economic reason for it. But why are you treating people differently in terms of making them eligible for citizenship based on religion, based on country, etc.? So that is what they have questioned. They have questioned the reasons for different treatment. Okay. Ravi, sir, law of the land means every law passed by parliament by simple majority also for OCI card holders. That is for any person. OCI, I mean, don't overthink here. OCI card holder is a foreigner. We, because they had some long association with India, some kind of bond with India, we give them some special benefit or visa. That's it. Nothing else. No other special benefit. They are just foreigners. So every law is applicable on everyone, including OCIs. Sushri, they are illegal migrants, so how can they avail benefits given by? They are illegal migrants. That is why we said that their status of illegal migrant is being removed now. Now they will not be considered illegal migrant. That's the whole point. For mains, not really. Just focus on the class PPTs and focus on Yojana, Kurukshetra, and current affairs, the monthly magazines. That is sufficient. Ranjan, no, I don't see a point in that. I mean, it would be a useless exercise. I mean, we need to, the inherent values will always be there. So, explicitly mentioning it will have no difference whatsoever. Okay, let's continue now. Abhijit, so is it important for means? Citizenship? Not really. It's a very low priority topic for means. Nitin, Akshay Kumar can have citizenship by a special provision of naturalization. No, he can have citizenship by registration. Naturalization is meant for foreigners who have had no relationship to India. I'm sure Akshay is married to Twinkle Khanna, who is, I hope, an Indian citizen, right? So I don't see him getting back their citizenship to naturalization. It will be registration only, or simply the government can remove any kind of criteria and directly give him Indian citizenship. That's there. Okay, Shalu, Hindu, if lost document will get citizenship. So you have just explained what you want me to explain. That's the same thing. If a Hindu has not received any document or does not have a document to prove the citizenship, of course he or she can avail the benefit of CAA. But if a Muslim is not able to prove the citizenship, they have no benefit or backing of any CAA or any such law to get citizenship. Okay, let's now move on and understand UTs. Union territories. Now, that is part 8, Articles 239 to 241 of the Indian Constitution. First up, how many UTs do we have? So, we have 28 states and we have 8 union territories. These are the names of all these UTs: Andaman Nicobar, Chandigarh, Dadra Nagar Haveli, NCT of Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, Lakshadweep, Ladakh, and Pondicherry. These are the 8 UTs. And if you see their geographical location, we have Ladakh, we have Jammu and Kashmir, we have New Delhi, we have Chandigarh, 4 UTs. The other 4, we have Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. These UTs here and here, they have now been merged into one common UT in 2019 only for easy administration. Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. And then we have Lakshadweep, we have here Andaman Nicobar, and we have the UT of Puducherry. Now, Pondicherry was renamed into Puducherry in 2006, and Puducherry is not one place only. Puducherry is a place, but the UT of Puducherry comprises 4 different parts. One, Yanam in Andhra Pradesh, Mahe in Kerala, and then Karaikal and place Puducherry in Tamil Nadu. So basically, the 4 places combined together to form one UT of Puducherry. That's how it is. Okay. Now, coming to the reasons why do we have UTs in the first place. See, world over, this concept exists of certain areas directly under the control of the center. First reason, of course, is special care and protection of tribals. Special care and protection of tribals. Second is, if some area is not financially viable, lack of financial viability. So these are the factors behind formation of UTs in general. Now, in India, we have UTs, union territories, territories directly controlled by the union. Those factors are, of course, we have strategic reason, Andaman Nicobar, Lakshadweep, because of their strategic location. Okay. Then we have a UT because it's the capital, NCT of Delhi. NCT stands for National Capital Territory of Delhi. Then we have sometimes creation of UTs based on territorial disputes. Classic example being Chandigarh. Chandigarh has always been has always been a disputed territory between Punjab and Haryana, and hence to ascertain a sense of ownership for both the states, we have made that a common capital and the ultimate control in the hands of the center. And lastly, of course, in our country also, sometimes to protect the distinct culture and history of a place, if any place has distinct culture, right? Very unique kind of culture and history. Good examples would include Ladakh, Puducherry. So, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. So, these are classic examples of why we have Dadra and. So, these are classic examples why we have various types of union territories. Okay. In fact, for strategic reasons, you can also add the example of Jammu and Kashmir. That's also based on strategic reasons. Okay. Now, coming to Article 239. So, this is an article which provides for governing union territories. As far as Article 239 is concerned, the first clause says that save as otherwise provided by the Parliament, except if the Parliament makes a law, every UT shall be administered by the President. Administered by the President, acting to such extent as he thinks fit through an administrator. So basically, every UT is governed by the President, meaning the center, through a person called administrator, right? Who is appointed by him with such designation. What is the designation of this person? They may be called administrator. Sometimes these people are called administrators. Sometimes they are called LG, Lieutenant Governor, right? So UTs of Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Chandigarh, their head is called administrator. Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Lakshadweep. And all other UTs, their head is called an LG. It's just nomenclature, right? So you can give him any kind of designation. It does not really matter. They are all in general called administrators only. Okay. Now we have we have see, we can have any other kind of name also. Does not really matter, right? So we have been using these names in the British times. So we have just followed up with the same names. You can have any other kind of name also tomorrow. Who cares? This is just nomenclature. Eventually, all these people have similar kind of powers only. Now, coming to the second article or second clause of the same article, we have actually seen this clause while we were discussing the chapter governor. I had explained that when it comes to governor, the example of Punjab, that in Punjab, the person becomes the governor of Punjab, gets control of the, of course, the management of Punjab, but is also made the administrator of Chandigarh. Now, when he is managing Punjab as a governor, we know that he is bound by the advice of Council of Ministers of Punjab, right? He has to follow the advice. But when it comes to managing Chandigarh, right, then he or she acts independently. So that is Article 239, Clause 2. This is actually known as the discretion of governor, meaning this is governor's discretion. Let's read. Notwithstanding. What is the meaning of notwithstanding? Notwithstanding means in spite of. This is a meaning of notwithstanding, a very common word found in the Constitution. Notwithstanding. In spite of anything contained in Part 6. Part 6 means what? The state, the states. So, in spite of whatever is mentioned in part 6, the president may appoint the governor of a state as the administrator of an adjoining UT. And where a governor is so appointed, he shall exercise his functions as such administrator independently of his council of ministers. So when the governor is appointed as an administrator of an adjoining UT, insofar as a UT is concerned, the governor acts independently. We have discussed this article earlier also. I'd explained the same example earlier as well. Okay. Now, there are some UTs which have legislatures. Jammu and Kashmir is uh, has a legislature. It has been proposed that Jammu and Kashmir will have legislature as per the J&K Reorganization Act 2019, and NCT of Delhi has a legislature under the provisions of the constitution only, and Pondicherry also has legislature, right? One very interesting thing about Pondicherry is that Pondicherry has 33 MLAs in the Legislative Assembly, of which 30 are elected and 3 are nominated, right? So 3 are nominated by the central government, and all these 3 MLAs have exact same powers as the other 30 MLAs. So elected, nominated, same power, no difference at all. Okay, so that's there. Now, second element, coming to Delhi, that is what is more important, and the only important element of our topic of discussion is this Article 239AA and the issue of Delhi. So NCT of Delhi has a 70-seat assembly. So we have a 70-seat assembly, that is 70 MLAs are there. Let me clarify. When I say NCT, it's the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Otherwise, I would have referred it as NCR. If I refer to it as NCR, NCR is the larger interstate regional planning area. That is called NCR, right? So NCR is different from NCT. NCT is the UT. NCR contains which area which are parts of other states also. For example, Faridabad, Gurgaon from Haryana, Ghaziabad, Noida from UP, Alwar from Rajasthan. They are all parts of what we know as NCR, National Capital Region. But if you are referring to UT, we will say NCT, the National Capital Territory of what? Delhi. Now, look at this very interesting provision in Delhi. NCT of Delhi has 70-seat assembly. Look at point 2. The CM is appointed by the president. We know very well, in case of states, the CM is appointed by the governor. But here, the CM is appointed by the president. And the Council of Ministers should not exceed 10% of the total members of the Legislative Assembly. So that's also there. And the Assembly of Delhi can make laws on matters in state list except public order, police and land. So when it comes to the Assembly of Delhi, it can make laws on all state list subjects except 3 state list subjects. Those 3 are entry number 1, public order, entry 2 and entry 18 of the state list. And also for other UTs, if you see, for other states, the maximum limit of Council of Ministers is actually 15%. For center and states, this limit is how much? 15%. Remember, through the 91st Amendment Act 2003. But for Delhi, it's 10% only. Now, this is the real issue which is up for discussion at on our hands, LG versus CM. So let's read this article and you'll understand what is the real cause of concern here. Article 239 AA clause 4. There shall be a council of ministers consisting of not more than 10% of the total number of members in the assembly. Not more than 10%. Okay. With the chief minister at the head to aid and advise the lieutenant governor in the exercise of his functions in relation to matters with respect to which the assembly has power to make laws. Meaning what? What matters does the assembly have power to make laws on? Stateless subjects. Except what? Except public order, except police, except land, right? Now, except insofar as he is, that is LG is, by or under any law required to act in his discretion. So interestingly, there's a scope here for LG to act in his own discretion, right? Now comes the real part. In the same article, there's a provision mentioned just below the article, and that provision is this. See, I'll give an example. Let us say the council of ministers will advise the LG and LG acts accordingly. If the council says, let's say the council of ministers tells the LG that LG, we want to have blue curtains. I'm giving a very basic example. Blue curtains in all government buildings. Please sign this order. LG says, no, no, no. I don't like blue. I like green. Or I like, say, purple. Purple curtains. LG says, no, no. Purple curtains. Arvind Kejriwal says, no, sir. Blue is nice. Now they have a difference of opinion. Okay. If there is any difference of opinion on any such thing, what will the LG do? LG will reserve this matter for the president. LG will say, okay, you have a problem with purple, let the president decides. But president is not free. Don't think the president is sitting free in her office and enjoying life. Of course, she is free, only she has no work, but still, she has some bills to sign, maybe. Otherwise, also, she is busy. Just assume she will have to take some time because it is not the president, it's the central government. So if you send any matter to the president will take some time in deciding. Maybe she'll call both the samples, show me the sample of purple, blue, etc. Time is being spent there. In the meantime, if blue and purple curtains is just an example. The chief minister is giving the advice to the LG that, sir, we want to install blue curtains in all the government buildings. The LG says, no, we want to install purple curtains. Just an example. Okay, the simpler the example, the more confusing it is. Great. Anyway, so the point here is that the difference of opinion gives the LG the benefit that while the president is deciding on these matters, the LG can in the meantime act on his own. Are you getting the point? So of course the president will take some time to decide, 10 days, 1 month, 2 months, whatever time. In the meantime, if the LG feels no, it is very, very important to have curtains, LG will say purple curtains. So basically, this article shows that LG is the final authority because it is more likely that LG will always try to have some different opinion. And if there's a conflict, LG will decide accordingly. In the meantime, the president can decide. Let's read now. Provided that in the case of difference of opinion between the LG and his ministers, meaning the chief minister, on any matter, the lieutenant governor shall refer it to the president. Okay, so LG will refer the matter to the president. So far so good, no problem. And of course, LG will act according to the decision given thereon by the president. No problem. I'll wait for president to decide. And pending such decision, it shall be competent for LG. And till the time the decision does not come, LG is competent. It is possible for the LG in any case where the matter, in his opinion, if the LG feels in his opinion that the matter is very urgent, that it requires him to take immediate action, LG will take immediate action. Okay? Or LG can give immediate direction. What is this? This article creates a unique situation. It is saying that, see, ultimately LG can act on his own. I mean, of course, why would LG have difference of opinion? It should be subject to some genuine consideration. Otherwise, randomly, we don't expect the LG to have a different opinion, at least on petty matters. Maybe some very crucial policy matter, difference of opinion is possible. But if this is a provision, and if an LG wants to misuse it, lot of scope is open. And this became a problem when the Arvind Kejriwal government was formed. Now, of course, Arvind Kejriwal government, when they initially came to power, they came to power with the support of the Congress, right? They had received 27 seats, I believe, out of 70. And BJP was the largest party with 33 or 34 seats. But the next elections, BJP got a thrashing from Aam Aadmi Party. It was nothing short of a thrashing, a clear drubbing. Anyway, so now the LG and Arvind Kejriwal issue erupted. And at that point of time, Najib Jung was LG. And of course, if somebody's name has Jung, he would always be on a war. And he, true to his name, had a literal war with Arvind Kejriwal on every possible matter. And the central government also seemed to support the LG, of course, which forced the Delhi government to go to High Court. Now, also one point to be observed, UT versus central government, it is not a federal issue because UT is under central government. That is why the matters go to High Court first. If it was a state versus central government, matter would go to Supreme Court, original jurisdiction. Anyway, the matter went to Delhi High Court. Now, Delhi High Court is normally known to be a court which has very good judges. I mean, who give very appropriate judgments. Sometimes those judgments have been better than Supreme Court judgments also. But this time, Delhi High Court actually faltered and gave a wrong judgment. Delhi High Court actually said in 2016 that LG has complete control on all matters regarding the NCT of Delhi. This is actually wrong. I mean, if you say LG has complete control over all the matters, then why the hell do you have the chief minister? What is he doing there? If you say LG is the real boss of Delhi, Delhi High Court, 2016, LG is the real head. The problem is, now LG, who is directly appointed by the center, has all the authority. But is he answerable to people? Accountable towards people? Of course not. But look at the Council of Ministers. Those people who have won the election and they are responsible, accountable to people, they have no authority. So that is what is called accountability authority mismatch. So the problem, what is the problem? LG authority without accountability, and Council of Ministers accountability without authority. So ideally what we want is that whoever has the accountability should also have the authority, right? If I don't have the powers, but people hold me accountable, then what can I do? So if you are holding me responsible for something, I should be given powers with respect to the same. Remember, that is why we don't punish the president, because president has no real powers. It's the government which has the real powers. So any order president signs, we question the government, because we know the real power is of the Council of Ministers. Same here. So LG is not accountable to people. This was a problem. Of course, this matter went to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court rightfully rectified the Delhi High Court judgment and said that, see, let's be clear. If you have an elected government, the executive head of the state is the chief minister. Please. And LG is bound by the advice of Council of Ministers. We cannot have a situation where LG will run the Delhi government, or else why are we actually conducting elections? That became a problem. So Supreme Court rectified it. In fact, Supreme Court also indirectly said that, we have to follow something called doctrine of purposive interpretation. Not important. I'll just explain what this means. It means that, whenever you are understanding or interpreting a law, just don't read the literal meaning of the law. We cannot always read the literal meaning and interpret a law. We have to delve deeper and understand the purpose for which any law was made. If you look at this article 239, you can say, sir, but in the article it clearly says that LG has ultimate power. But please be realistic. The whole purpose of LG versus CM, or the whole purpose of having an elected Delhi government, was to give people a responsible government. So even though the article's words are seemingly framed in a fashion to give LG an upper hand, it should not be the case, because elected government is the one which should have the authority. So that is what Supreme Court said. And Supreme Court also agreed that, see, LG, we understand that there can be genuine difference of opinion. So firstly, the difference of opinion has to be genuine. There should be genuine disagreement. You cannot have difference of opinion on every small matters. And this should be in writing. What is the exact disagreement you have? If you have any kind of disagreement with the government's advice, you please tell us the reason. Let's say the curtains example only. Now, if LG says, no, I don't want blue curtains, I want purple curtains, give reasons. Because of blue curtains, maybe wavelength is such that people go blind. Give some reason. We want the reason. Why do you have a difference of opinion? What is the problem you are facing with the government's advice? That's there. And one more thing, which is again there for every state also and the center, that whoever is a government, the chief minister, the prime minister, they should always inform the head, that is a governor or the president, of whatever is happening in the country and the state. Same thing. Delhi government does not require LG's consent. No need to get his consent and all. But of course, you should keep him informed. At least right to information, article 78 167, same kind of provision for Delhi also, that it's okay, don't take his permission, but at least inform him of what is happening, right? So keep him in the loop. That's it. So this problem largely got resolved. When problem gets resolved, then in comes our central government saying, wait, problem solved, we are here. So like KGF, they made the entry, may I come in? And they entered this situation and they passed a law. They amended the existing law called Government of NCT of Delhi Act and modified it. And the reason, what reason they gave? They said, we want to promote harmonious relationship between the legislature and the executive. Don't question our intention. We also want to give effect to Supreme Court judgment. Supreme Court gave a judgment in 2018, right? Remember? We want to give effect to the judgment. That's why we want to change the law accordingly. Such nice and noble intention of our central government. We always question government side. Very bad. Such noble intentions. That's the intention. At least that's what they have told. Anyway, let us see what changes they made. to give effect to the Supreme Court judgment. So Supreme Court judgment basically said that the real boss is the chief minister. Okay. First change made. So the term government referred to in any law made by the assembly will imply LG. This is a change made by the center. They say that government means LG, but government means chief minister, right? But here center says no, 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 no. In Delhi, when I say government, it will mean LG. But the Supreme Court had said that CM is the real boss. I mean, yes, definitely. But we are giving effect to Supreme Court judgment. How? We don't know. But that's what the center says. That's there. Number two. So we know Lok Sabha rules, Rajya Sabha rules. These are rules made to run the house. Every state has its own rules. Similarly, Delhi also, assembly also has rules. But rules to regulate the procedure and conduct of business in the assembly, that is Delhi Legislative Assembly rules, must be consistent with rules of Lok Sabha. Very strange, right? I mean, any body or any assembly should make rules which should be consistent with the constitution. Why should my rules be consistent to your rules? This is to make sure that the Delhi assembly is subservient to the parliament, the Lok Sabha, that you are under us. Your rules should be confined in such a fashion that they are consistent with my rules. Don't try to cross the limits. I decide your limits. Then, very interesting. So, what is the purpose of parliament in a legislature? In a parliamentary system? What is the purpose of any legislature in the parliamentary system? Question the government, right, on all its activities. The change made here is that the act now prohibits the assembly from making any rule to enable itself or to give any committee this power to consider the matters of day-to-day administration of Delhi. So the Delhi assembly cannot inquire into day-to-day administration of Delhi. Then what's the point of Delhi assembly? The assembly's task is to inquire into government's activity. But here you are saying that, sorry, can't allow for this. And cannot conduct any inquiry in relationship to the administrative decisions. Firstly, you say that LG is the government, and now you are saying the assembly cannot question the government. What the hell is this? Then why do we have assembly there? What are these MLAs supposed to do then? Sit and watch, appreciate the LG? Not just this. And the best possible modification made was this. Read this. So Supreme Court had said very clearly that LG's opinion need not be taken on any matter. It's okay. I mean, you can take his opinion and all, but LG's opinion is not binding. But here the change is on certain matters as mentioned by LG only. What matters? That LG will tell you. His opinion must be obtained. But Supreme Court had very clearly said that LG's opinion may not be obtained. Why do you need LG's opinion? But here the government says, no, no. On certain matters that the LG will decide, his opinion has to be obtained before taking any executive action on the decision. This is very strange. I mean, the same old story is back. Now the government has modified and has said that real power, LG. This is a problem. So an issue which was largely solved has been brought back. And look at the reason. I mean, the reason is we are giving effect to Supreme Court judgment. Really? From what angle are you giving effect to Supreme Court judgment? Nice joke, right? So this is what is the real thug life of central government. They will do any such thing and they will say, no, our reason is this. And to tell you, this matter is actually pending in the court. Now you will say, sir, what is new here? Everything is pending in the court only. That's the beauty of our Supreme Court. Don't blame me. Blame Supreme Court. Why should I make any statement against Supreme Court? I don't want a case of contempt of court. Anyway, this is pending in Supreme Court. And I'll tell you something. Supreme Court last year had told the government, please respond within 4 weeks. On the 3rd of March 2022, Supreme Court had said, please respond in 4 weeks. That response is yet to come. It's just been a year, so don't worry. Maybe once your kids are appearing for UPSC, then I'll teach them the response has come. Possible. I don't know. Possible. So that's it. So this is all as far as this issue is concerned. So let me just recap everything. Number one, originally the article said that if there is a difference of opinion between LG and the chief minister, LG will send the matter to president. But in the meantime, when the president decides, or till the president decides, LG can act on his own. This was actually read by Supreme Court, a High Court in Delhi in 2016, that LG is a real boss. This was later on cancelled by the Supreme Court, saying no, the CM is a real boss and LG just needs to be informed. That's it. Okay. Then the government of India entered, modified the law and said that no, government means LG, and on some matters LG's advice or LG's opinion has to be obtained. On what matters LG would decide, right? And how much time will LG give the decision, that we don't know. LG will decide. So these were changes made with respect to the law. One more change was, the act requires the LG to reserve certain bills passed by the Legislative Assembly for the centre's consideration. Okay. Which means what? So this is something which is there for the states also, that if there is any bill which tries to modify the power of high courts, then such bills should be reserved for the president. That's there. If the president asks for a bill to be reserved, reserve it. Interesting. Now, the Delhi Assembly cannot increase the salary of its MLAs. Not possible. Why? Because such bills have to be sent to center. So, Delhi Assembly cannot make such changes in the salary of the speaker, members, etc., ministers also. Relating to official languages of the assembly and any such matter which covers or which falls under all those matters. Okay, so that is there. This is with respect to the new provisions. Now, what are the issues? Very basic issues. Nothing much new here. Issue number one, LG versus what? LG is the government. That's a very serious issue. You are questioning the Supreme Court judgment only. Then, mandatory opinion of LG. Then, no fixed time frame for LG to give opinion. Then, one more issue is that when you make LG the head, accountability authority mismatch. What is this mismatch? Who is accountable? Council of Ministers. Who has the authority? LG. There's a mismatch, right? So basically, a mismatch between the accountability and authority. Somebody else has the accountability, somebody else has the authority. And lastly, look at the very big change, that the assembly is not allowed to inquire into the day-to-day activities. You are asking the legislature not to question the government. What kind of change is this? Assembly cannot inquire into government's activities. These are issues pertaining to the LG versus CM debate. The matter is still pending in the court. There is one more corresponding matter already pending in the court, and that matter is the issue of the control over SPSCs. So there is a government's notification, central government's. So the matter pending in the court, let me write here only, plus another matter. And what is that? Who controls SPSC officers in Delhi? Control meaning their appointment and transfer. Appointment and transfer. LG or CM. This matter is also pending in the Supreme Court. Why? This is basically a state list subject. Entry 41, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So that's there. I hope this point is clear with respect to the issue. And that is why a very beautiful article was published in Indian Express, written by one Sahas Arora, person not important. But he actually used a very interesting phrase. He said that, this change that has been made has actually seemingly, think of it as a sword. This sword that has cut off the executive arm of Delhi government. The amendment is like a sword that has cut off the executive arm of Delhi government. So this is what is the situation. Delhi is struck in a place where whose Delhi is it? The CMs or the LGs? We don't know. Let's hope Supreme Court finds time and takes decisions on this matter. Okay. Sir Vipin, but SPSC connected by High Court. SPSC? Oh, for the judiciary, yes, yes. SPSC refers to the Public Service Commission examinations, which includes your officials, right? The administrative officers. So, in your state, for example, whichever state you belong to, SPSC exams are held for administrative services, DSP, etc. That SPSC is for judicial posts. That is the under High Court's control, not the administrative posts. Okay. Shalu, option of LG binding on executive. See, as of now, uh, the amendment is silent whether the advice is binding or not. The amendment only says that you have to take his advice. That is mandatory. Okay. Okay. Yes, Aniket, Tehsildar, etc. Various kinds of posts are there. That's all. We are done with our discussion on the UTs. And since we are discussing UTs, one more topic that should be covered accordingly is the UT of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. Sushri, yes, SPSC officer case is also pending in the Supreme Court, subject to further clarifications. A three-judge bench has not given comprehensive decision there. Last year, the three-judge bench said that we should try to find a middle ground. Why should LG or CM have the power? Why can we not have a middle ground? Which is very strange. How can you have middle ground? Somebody has to be given the ultimate authority. Anyway, so now coming to our yes, Janvi, till the amendment is there, till the judgment does not come, amendment will be in force. Priyanka, yes, government can also be accused of contempt of court. So if Supreme Court gives any order or High Courts give any order and the government does not follow it, who is punished? You will be punished. You, who is a concerned official to implement the order, will be called in the court and will be penalized. Don't worry, that time will also come in your life, right? So, I mean, let's hope it does not come. You fulfill all the orders of the courts, but if you don't, then that time will also come where you will be called to the court. Okay, so now we have Article 370. Do you want a break? 4 5 minutes? Or oh, sorry, poll. Of course, of course. Poll is life. A for yes, B for no. A for yes, B for no. Oh, 51-49. Oh, okay, this is too close. This reminds me of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, which lost by one vote. Okay, no problem. We'll have a break of 5 minutes. Be back at 7:10. Don't waste time, and we'll discuss Article 370 and what happened to Article 370. Okay. If there's a tie, I will get a casting vote, but there's no tie happening. Okay. Shalu, why will the court call you? Who is government? You are the government. So who will the court call? You are the permanent executive. Who will the court call? Government is some authority. Government is actually an entity which comprises of people only. So if you are the person responsible for performing the task and you have failed to do it, you will be called. Who else will be called? Okay, let's be back at 7:10 quickly. Break, please. Welcome back, guys. Too much of a break? Okay. So now let's understand the provision of Jammu and Kashmir. So basically, we're discussing here Article 370. I won't go into the details of what happened in Jammu and Kashmir. I'm sure that is best left for our discussion in IR and, of course, history. Just to give you a backdrop. So when Hari Singh was slightly confused on whether to join uh, India or Pakistan, or he was deciding, then what happened was Pakistan attacked Jammu and Kashmir, or rather, the tribals there attacked Jammu and Kashmir. And then Hari Singh felt that time has come to seek help from India, came to India, running, sought help, and on the 26th of October 1947 signed the instrument of accession, meaning Hari Singh said, I am giving up three things to India. That is what? Defense, external affairs, and communication. In the meantime, Lord Mountbatten, who was Nehru's very close friend, advised Nehru that this is a very serious international problem. Why don't you go to UN? Nehru said, UN? So Mountbatten said, I remember we made a body called UNO. We dragged you also as a permanent member, even when you were not independent. Nehru said, yes, 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 I remember now. And he went to UN thinking, oh, I should get these issues resolved in a proper fashion internationally through peaceful mediation and arbitration. UN was sitting idle, waiting for issues to come. And the Security Council passed resolution number 47, entered into this issue, and said, stop fighting, no fighting. And this, basically, what had happened was that the people there had been entering here, and they had almost entered these areas, the Pakistani armed forces. And then when Hari Singh came to India, our army went in, we started pushing them back. So this was a line where the Pakistani army had control. At that point of time, the UN said, stop fighting, cease fire. And this became the cease fire line. It's like saying statue, stand where you are, don't move. And this was the part which was controlled by Pakistan, and rest was with India. Okay, cease fire line. So cease fire, as the word cease and fire means, cease is to stop, fire is to fire the gun. So no fighting, stop fighting right now. That is called cease fire, stop fighting. This is a line which actually later on became line of control in 1972. Anyway, as I said, other discussions are best left for history and IR. Now, what happened? The condition for now, the issue was to be resolved by people. UN said, let the people decide. Let the people of Jammu and Kashmir vote, plebiscite, voting by people to choose whether they want to be with India or Pakistan. But some conditions. Condition number one, Pakistan, withdraw all your forces, all the tribesmen, move them out. India, you only keep limited force in Jammu and Kashmir just to maintain law and order. That's it. And then voting. India said, Pakistan, come on, move out. UN is saying, Pakistan said, wait. Why should I move out? You firstly move out. India said, but condition one is Pakistan move out. Pakistan said, no. It is just one of the conditions. India, you first move out. India said, no. Condition one is Pakistan move out. Pakistan said, if you move out, you'll capture everything. No, you first move out. And neither Pakistan nor India backed out, and hence no voting could be conducted. Anyway, For the part which was under India's control and the other parts also, uh, a separate provision was introduced called the draft 306A. That was the original provision. It was introduced by Gopala Swami Iyengar, I think on the 17th of October 1949. And Gopala Swami Iyengar was the Diwan Bahadur, and he was also the PM of J&K in 1937 to 1943. And in fact, the Congress Working Committee had opposed this proposal. Lot of these people who were princely state kings, they were very unhappy. Why this different treatment for Jammu and Kashmir? We came to India completely, no special provisions for us. Why this different treatment? Maulana Hasrat Mohani, he opposed it. He said that this is discrimination. Other princely states, no condition. They are completely absorbed by India. But Jammu and Kashmir, special provisions. Anyway, this is what happened. And eventually, we also provided for the creation of a separate Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir in 1951. And finally, that Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly gave or created its own constitution in 1957. 26th of January 1957, Jammu and Kashmir got its own constitution within the framework of Indian constitution. And there was an article specifically meant for Jammu and Kashmir that is called Article 370. What was the article and what were the provisions of this article? So, provision number 1. Firstly, now I'll explain to you what the Article 370 was earlier. So, Article 370 said that Article 1 and 370 of the Indian Constitution will be applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. What is the meaning of this? It means Article 1, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. This means Jammu and Kashmir cannot move out of India. And Article 370 will be applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. So only two Indian Constitution's articles were made applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. But if you want to implement other articles to Jammu and Kashmir, it can still be done. To implement other articles, the President will issue an order. President to issue order. That would be called PO, Presidential Order, or CO, Constitutional Order. Same thing. But one condition. What is the condition? Consent of government of state required. This was the condition. Consent of state government required. Now, that is why we were limited by this issue that we could not impose all the articles on Jammu and Kashmir. Some articles, in fact, frankly, by 2019, almost 2/3 of the Indian constitution was already applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, right? Now comes the interesting part. We know very well, Parliament has the power to make laws on union and concurrent list subjects. Yes or no? We know it. Here also. Parliament has a power to make laws on union and concurrent list. That's very common. You'll say, what is special? But it is special in Jammu Kashmir's case. There were two situations. Case one, if the topics under union list and concurrent list, if topics related to defense, topics related to communication, topics related to external affairs. If the topics under union and the concurrent list related to all these three topics, then consultation with the government of state. Consultation is not binding, just consultation. Consult, no problem. Okay, fair enough. But case 2, for all other topics, every other topic in the union list and the concurrent list, if the parliament wanted to make a law, look at this. If you want to make a law on union or concurrent list on any other topic, then concurrence of government of state is required. Concurrence is required. Very weird. I mean, the Indian Parliament has no power to make laws on union and the concurrent list on lot of matters without the state government's consent. This was a special provision. The center does not seek the permission of Tamil Nadu or say Nagaland or Gujarat or Maharashtra for making laws on union list, but for Jammu and Kashmir, it had to seek their permission. Now, of course, Shalu, government of state here means Jammu and Kashmir. Which state will you refer to? Jammu and Kashmir only. Now comes a very interesting element. You will say, but sir, can we change all these things? Can we modify Article 370? Yes, of course we can. In case you want to modify the provisions of Article 370, you say, sir, why don't we give this power to government of India only? Why permission required? Let's modify it. Of course you can modify, no problem. Article 370 clause 3 said, Article 370 clause 3 said, you can modify it. Who can modify it? President can. President can modify Article 370. You will say, then what is the problem? In fact, President can also make 370 inoperative. Everything can be done. One condition is there. Recommendation is required. The President cannot do this on his own. Somebody has to recommend it. Recommendation of, you will say, oh, recommendation of state government is required. No, no, no. Recommendation of Constituent Assembly of J&K required. What is this Constituent Assembly? Remember, this was a body formed in 1951 and this was disbanded. This was closed in 1957 only. The task is over. This was the body which was formed in 1951 to create a separate constitution for Jammu and Kashmir. Now you are saying that take their consent. But members are all dead, right? How will they recommend? If they come and recommend, it will be very weird, right? Because they have all passed away. So there is no opportunity and there's no chance that they will ever come and recommend, right? Logically speaking, if we uh, don't believe in the dead and all, then of course they can never come. This was Article 370. Now the point is, then how did we make the change? If to make a change you require the consent or recommendation of Constituent Assembly and the members have already, passed away, the body has been dissolved, in 1957, 25th of January only, then how to get the recommendation? So, herein lies the genius in this move. Whoever thought of it, hats off. See, let me explain. So, while we were discussing this budget, annual financial statement, remember, I had told you that financial year means April to March. How do you know this? You'll say, sir, you told us. That's great that you have this belief in me. Amazing. But this financial year is from April to March, must be mentioned somewhere. There is an Article 367 which actually reads interpretation. This article says that if you have any problem in understanding the meaning of some words, please refer to a law called General Clauses Act 1897. This is a law. This is a law which contains meanings of certain words. For example, look at this. What is financial year? Just a sec, guys. Okay, let's come back. So, as I said, look at this. General Clauses Act. Financial year shall mean year commencing on the first day of April. Or what is the meaning of government? Government means both central government and state government. What is the meaning of immovable property? It means land, benefits to arise out of land, things attached to earth, etc. See, this law contains some definitions. Okay. What did the government do? The government went ahead and made some change in the definition. What it did was, definition of Constituent Assembly. was changed. That's it. End of story. What is the problem? The problem is how to get recommendation of a body which does not exist only. Change definition. The definition was Constituent Assembly for J&K would mean Legislative Assembly. That's it. This was the change done. Change the definition only. This means now to make any kind of change, what is required? Recommendation of assembly is required. Now, matter does not end here. In 2019, there was President's rule in Jammu and Kashmir. Yes or no? Yes, of course. Now, whenever you have President's rule, state government means central government and Legislative Assembly means the parliament. That's it. So during now what happened? During President's rule, there is no assembly. Parliament is the assembly for Jammu and Kashmir. I have changed the definition. Now the recommendation of not the Constituent Assembly, but Legislative Assembly is required, which actually means the Parliament is required. So Parliament gave the recommendation, and that's it. The entire constitution was made applicable on Jammu and Kashmir. Every article was made applicable on Jammu and Kashmir. That was the Constitution Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 2019. All the provisions of the Constitution shall now extend to Jammu and Kashmir. Every provision of the Constitution will now extend to Jammu and Kashmir. It revokes the power of Article 370, not Article 370. Article still exists. It has been modified. Okay. So this is how it was done, changing the definition. And now what the article reads is this. This is a current Article 370. Let's read. All the provisions, look at the beauty, how simple. All the provisions of this constitution as amended from time to time without any modification or exception shall apply to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. That's it. Notwithstanding, in spite of anything contrary, opposite contained in Article 152, 308, in spite of anything opposite contained in the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, any law, any document, any judgment, any ordinance, any order, any bylaw, any rule, any regulation, any notification, any custom, any usage, any instrument, any treaty, any agreement, to hell with everything. Whatever everything else says, to hell with it. The entire constitution of Jammu and of the country is applicable now to Jammu and Kashmir. That's it. Now, when the entire constitution is applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, Article 3 is also applicable. And mind you, this modification was done through a presidential order, because for Jammu and Kashmir, Article 370, we don't need constitution amendment. Please read. To implement other articles of the Indian Constitution, what is required? Presidential order is required. That's it, not a constitutional amendment. That is why, very easy. You change the definition, impose everything, right? And because, as I said, everything is now applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, right? Article 3 is also applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. What is Article 3? Center can make any kind of modification, right? Altering the boundaries, altering the names, etc. And hence, the name of the modification was done through Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019, two UTs, UT of Jammu and Kashmir, UT of Ladakh. Bifurcation, right? Manoj Sinha is a LG of JNK, LG of JNK, and recently appointed we have Brigadier Dr. BD Mishra as the LG of Ladakh. Radhakrishnan Mathur was a former LG. Now, Jammu and Kashmir Assembly will have 107. This 107 has now been increased to 114 seats. Okay. Out of which 24 will remain vacant. So, currently, how many seats? 90 seats. Interestingly, for the first time, you will have reservation in Jammu and Kashmir for SC/STs. It was not there earlier. And LG can nominate 2 women to the assembly. And for Jammu and Kashmir, the assembly can make laws on any topic on state list except police and public order. Except these 2 topics, the assembly can make laws on every other topic. But for Ladakh, no assembly. The UT will be governed by the president through the LG. And High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh will be the common High Court. And now every law in the country will be applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. So earlier what used to happen was that let's say IPC, Indian Penal Code. In Jammu and Kashmir, they had a separate penal code called Ranbir Penal Code, RPC, based on Ranbir Singh, not the actor, a king in the 18th century, 19th century, right? So Ranbir Singh. So all these provisions were different. Aadhaar Act was not applicable. Right to education was not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. But now everything is applicable. Now, some people have raised a concern. What the hell is this? This is wrong. And petition has been filed in the Supreme Court. Of course, like all other matters, this matter is also pending in the Supreme Court. So, pending in Supreme Court since 2019, Manohar Lal Sharma case. So this matter is also pending. Let's see if Supreme Court can find some time. Then maybe one fine day we will have, or they will have a look into this provision. Now, what is the challenge? The challenge is a very beautiful issue. They are calling it doctrine of colorable legislation. The question is, how could you change the definition of Constituent Assembly? I mean, Constituent Assembly can never mean Legislative Assembly. Those are two different bodies only. The task of Legislative Assembly is to make laws. The task of a Constituent Assembly is to provide for a constitution. It's like tomorrow you change the definition and say, now in India, government means Narendra Modi. Possible? If you want to change definitions, change everything. Indian constitution will mean the rule book of BJP, rule book of Congress. They can't do anything. So, doctrine of colorable legislation says what cannot be done directly cannot be done indirectly. What cannot be done directly, can't be done indirectly. Doctrine of colorable legislation, meaning you were not allowed to make any modification. People are saying that, do you think the makers were crazy that they added the word constituent assembly? It was done deliberately so that no change can be made. How can you make a change? You are not allowed to make changes directly. So don't make changes indirectly also. Simple example. Let's say you like somebody and you approach them, you tell them nice DP. That's how you start, right? And finally, you propose your emotions that I love you, I'm crazy, etc. Once I become IS officer, I'll provide you with an amazing life. All this nonsense you do. Now the person sends you a message and says, don't dare to message me again, and says, I should not receive a single message from this number, and blocks you. Okay. Now you go to the market, purchase a new SIM, and text again saying, see, you told me not to send text from that SIM. This is new number. Why? You have not been allowed something to be done directly. Please don't try to do it indirectly. Or you ask a friend, please go and tell him or her how much I love. You can't. You have been told, please don't approach directly or indirectly. This is called doctrine of colorable legislation. What cannot be done directly should also not be done indirectly. This is the argument with respect to the change being made in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, that is all as far as Article 370 is concerned. Lastly, you should also know this was also there. It is no longer applicable now. There used to be a separate article which existed only for Jammu and Kashmir, Article 35A. You will not find this article in the Indian Constitution. Why? Because this article was meant only for Jammu and Kashmir, which gave some special benefits for people who were permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. So, Jammu and Kashmir legislature could define people who would be called permanent residents. And these people who were called permanent resident of Jammu and Kashmir will get a certificate called PRC, permanent resident certificate. These people would get benefits with respect to employment, complete reservation in government employment. Number two, these would be the people who could purchase, acquire property in Jammu and Kashmir. Only these people could reside in Jammu and Kashmir, and every government scholarship or benefit, etc., was meant for these people only. Special provisions for Jammu and Kashmir, the residents, the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. And this was actually always there in Jammu and Kashmir. The source of Article 35A is a very old law. This is called the State Subject Law of 1927. So there used to exist a law called State Subject Rule of 1927. That was the rule which had allowed the people of Jammu and Kashmir to have special provisions with respect to the state. So the source was something called State Subject Rule. 1927. So basically, back in the 1920s, when a lot of outsiders were entering into Jammu and Kashmir, uh, then what happened? The people there, the Kashmiri Pandits, the Dogra elites, they felt uh, that outsiders are coming in, creating a hindrance, purchasing land, settling here, and they forced the king Hari Singh to bring a rule called state subject rule, meaning only those people who were the permanent residents of the state could live there, could purchase land there, etc. That was called the state subject rule. Article 35A was nothing but the same state subject rule which was reintroduced in the form of Article 35A for Jammu and Kashmir. It now no longer exists. It is also gone with the other provisions. Okay. So that is all as far as Jammu and Kashmir and Article 370 is concerned. We are done with the provisions of Article 370. That's it. And that's it for today. Let's end our discussion here only. That's all for me, guys. Jai Hind. And now I'll take up your questions. Questions, if you have any questions, please. Sir, how delimitation will be done in GUT of J&K and Ladakh census of 1971? See, as far as delimitation is concerned with respect to number of seats, yes. But if it comes to internal boundary, then latest census will be used. Janvi, the modification done, is it unconstitutional? That the Supreme Court will decide. Who are we to pass a judgment on this? Was this wonderful thought or idea of modification made by an IS officer? See, of course, as I said, as an IS officer, you have to work behind the scenes, right? So we don't really know. Of course, we believe that maybe some IS lobby would have worked on it to find a solution to it. Our innocent ministers cannot be expected to have such high thinking. Possible also. It is a possibility for them also to be able to think like this. But largely, it's the bureaucracy which gives such suggestions. Priyanka, now JNK is same as other states. Now JNK is a union territory. It is not like other states. UT, like all other states and UTs. No special provision. Is this condition of Article 373? Yes, Janvi, that is why we have mentioned it. It is mentioned in the Constitution. Nothing is my own creation. Okay. What about representation of JNK in Rajya Sabha? Whatever was there earlier continues. JNK has governor. Yamini, JNK has LG now, lieutenant governor. For UT, we have administrators. So the administrator of JNK is called LG. Can you please tell important articles? I think as far as today's discussion is concerned, when we were studying part 1, article 1 and 3, when we were studying citizenship, nothing is important. Not a single article is important. And as far as UT is concerned, again, articles are not really important in that topic also. And for 370, you should know what is 370. That is, I mean, very basic. Vipin, no. Increasing number of districts will not have any effect on increasing the seats. It is just changing the districts based on size, population, etc. So that is an internal modification. It has no effect on the number of seats in the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Assembly or Council. Lekha, if ultimately the center wanted to recommend, why didn't they? See, Constituent Assembly of J&K, the closest meaning that you can derive is that it could be a legislative assembly. Making the Constituent Assembly like the parliament, that would be a far-fetched definition. So they thought it's better to have a closer definition of Constituent Assembly, to have the same kind of body at the state level. Otherwise, replacing a state level body with a parliamentary body could be a very far-fetched definition change, right? Yes, delimitation commission decides. With respect to Jammu and Kashmir, we had the delimitation commission, which was, I'm sure you should be aware, which was chaired by Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai. Shalu, sir, when this amendment was made, yes, J&K was under President's rule. Chanabaswa, Part 1, Chapter 5, Part 2, Citizenship, Chapter 6. For Article 370, what I have taught is sufficient. This would be sufficient. In case you want, you can refer to, I don't recollect the chapter of Lakshmikant for Article 370, but you'll have to find that out. Yes, Shalu, you can purchase land in Jammu and Kashmir, right? We all can, but the land is so costly that it's almost impossible. Parth, it is not possible. That's an irrelevant topic for prelims. Completely irrelevant. Yes, Sakshi, taxes and such things will be imported, will be imposed. See, as far as communication, external affairs and defense. So, if an external affairs matter is there, I missed your voice. You missed my voice, or you missed what I said. Two different meanings. Choose your words very carefully. Chana Baswa, as I said, chapter 5 for part 1, chapter 6 for citizenship, and for article 370, I think notes are sufficient. I don't recollect the chapter in Lakshmikant. You have to find that out. Okay. What else do we have? What article 370, Shalu? What is this question mark? Samima, as far as delimitation is concerned in Assam, see, the recommendations do take some time. Also, any major modification now has to wait for the 2024 elections. So, when elections are around the corner, we delay such exercises like delimitation or census, etc. Those are delayed because you can unnecessarily modify these things and then get the benefit of winning the election. Shiva, PM Bakshi, I think you should purchase PM Bakshi or any such book because reading the articles on your own also gives you a sense of clarity, improves your legal language, improves your answer writing skill. And as any informed citizen, we should always keep a book of the Constitution handy with us. Sir, how much time give to prepare polity for mains and prelims? You only prepare polity for mains, nothing for prelims. For prelims, we only revise and solve mock tests, preparing for mains. And I think 3 hours daily for a month would be sufficient, and then consistent revision, updating your notes. Sakshi, that is beyond our control what to do, right? Look at the audacity of Pakistan. Pakistan also gave a small part of Jammu and Kashmir to China called Sakshgam Valley. Can you see this part? This part they gave to China. This is where you have the highest battlefield, right? Siachen. It is at a higher point than these areas, but this is at even higher point. And Pakistan gave this to China, giving China an advantage in straight warfare against India. That is why we say that Pakistan's only motive is the destruction of India. A country cannot survive on such negativity. It is bound to fail. We should not waste our single moment in discussing about Pakistan or their policies. Shalu, Article 370 is not operable. No, Article 370 has been modified. The old provisions are not operative. It has been modified into new provision. Uh, no parts, not really. Donald Trump issue, at least for polity, will not be asked. No correlation at all. I just answered Shalu. So, Nitin, tips on making notes. Why do you want to make notes, sir? I am writing so much on the slides. You copy these only. And on these slides, only use sticky notes, etc. to make or add information. Don't create separate notes. I know the feeling, right? When you write from scratch with nice pens, red color, blue color, highlighter, underline, beautiful. It wastes time. Rather, revise. Okay? No, Vimal, of course. We have to take a printout of this. Don't stick sticky notes on the screen only, right? Okay. Now, what else? This is the official map of India, recognized everywhere. Don't worry, very soon we will have at least POK under control. Aksai Chin may take some time. Anyway, uh, Now I'm relaxed, sir, because I see on YouTube that if you give more than 10 days to polity, then you are wasting your time. Don't fall prey to all this information on YouTube. 10 days polity, 3 days history, 2 days geography. No, no, no. You will take some time to read the topic, revisions, regular revisions, updating constantly. It is a consistent year-long effort. Okay. See, it's all marketing, please. If I have to sell something, I'll tell you, please join my course. I'll teach you history in 1 day, geography in 2, polity in 3, done. So it's marketing gimmick. It's okay. No problem. See, decisions are taken in the name of LG, meaning, like in the case of the country as well, the decisions are taken in the name of the president. So basically, we are saying that the president is deciding this on the advice of Council of Ministers. So officially, it's the president who is the head, but the advice is of Council of Ministers. So in the name of the president or LG. Ravi. No, Sakshi, no. Samima, I joined Delhi CRP. What is CRP? The classroom program. Well, I'll be coming to Delhi in the month of May, I believe. Chana Baswa, no problem. It's okay. I understand. Read editorials. That's it. Read editorials as much as you can on your own, not the underlying meaning or gist, on your own to improve language. Okay, so that's all I believe. Let's end our discussion for today. Arey Gulam, these people will keep on making some kind of video. Recommendations have been there to reduce the age and all, but don't worry. When such a change comes, you'll be given ample amount of time. UPSC is like, I mean, it resides in the hearts of people across the country. You cannot have rampant changes and big ticket changes overnight. Plenty of time will be given if such changes are to be made. Don't worry. Okay, that's all for me, guys. Let's meet tomorrow. Till then, Jai Hind.